This woman took out her camera and snapped a picture. I thought she had some kind of quirk. I didn't expect her to call the waiter. She asked him to give the photo to the bald guy. She wanted him to pay the bill for her. Baldhead was surprised when he got the photo, but he couldn't see anything because he forgot his glasses. So he asked the waiter to check for him. After hearing that the woman wanted him to pay the bill for her, Baldhead immediately refused and drove away the waiter. The waiter came to the woman and teased her for losing her mind. There is no such thing as a free dinner, but the woman said defiantly, "I'm going to show the waiter how it's done." Soon after, the woman has a new prey. He told the waiter to wait and see. She intentionally dropped the contents of her bag on the floor. This quickly attracted the attention of the gentleman. While the waiter scoffed, the man has already fallen into the trap of the woman. After the woman's bragging, he was soon bewitched by her. When the woman pretended to leave, he stopped her and invited her to dine with him. Seeing that the man is successfully hooked, the woman is secretly happy. She didn't realize that the best hunters come in the form of prey. While she was chatting with him, the woman asked him to pay the bill for her. He agreed without hesitation and made a request to the woman. However, when the woman heard what he said, she slapped him in the face without hesitation. It turned out that the man had been planning something bad from the beginning. The reason he agreed to pay for the woman, he was only after her beauty. The woman was soon teased by the waiter, but she ignored the waiter. The waiter pulls out the bill and asks the woman to check it. The woman begged the waiter for mercy, because she never carries money with her and she has eaten at every fancy restaurant with her camera, but today she had failed. The waiter introduced her to a rich businessman. He said he owned many mansions and fancy cars. What she didn't know was that the waiter had set her up. The gears of this lady's destiny began to turn. Soon, the woman got acquainted with the rich businessman. He even asked the waiter for the most expensive set menu. The woman thought she had caught a big fish and happily took a photo with the rich businessman. But just then, the rich businessman's mobile phone called. He asked the lady to wait for a moment. Then he got up and left to answer the call. Meanwhile, the waiter came to the woman. The woman said proudly, she'll make sure the businessman gives him a big tip. The waiter tells the woman to be careful. The waiter leaves. The woman, still unaware of what had happened, was still drinking and celebrating. It wasn't until it was time for the restaurant to close. The woman realized that she had been cheated. The waiter also kindly said, the so-called rich businessman, it's not the first time he's skipped a bill. The woman now had to face not only her own bill, but also the rich businessman's expensive bill. The lady asked the waiter why he deliberately set her up. It turns out the waiter didn't mean any harm. He just wanted to teach the lady a lesson and correct her bad habits. He offered to pay her bill in his own way. When the lady looked at him disdainfully, the waiter told the woman to go with him to change her clothes. A short time later the woman changed into her cleaning clothes, contracted to clean the restaurant for the night. As a reward for the woman's first labor, the waiter brings champagne to celebrate her reformation. The reformed woman takes out her camera and records the turning point in her life. Here, her love takes root. This woman paid $1 million to hire a schoolgirl who looks exactly like her. But Lisa's shyness is the opposite of a haughty rich girl. After a little coaching, a fake rich girl was born. After introducing Lisa to her relatives, she and her boyfriend left the country to spend time together. But Lisa was arrested the day after she went to school as a substitute. It turns out that yesterday she got into trouble with two of her classmates who were in opposition to the rich girl. In order to take revenge, they reported her for using illegal substances. The news of Lisa's arrest alerted her uncle. The rich businessman arrived at the police station with his lawyer. However, when he saw Lisa, he only scolded her. Apparently it wasn't the first time he'd helped a rich girl, but unlike before, Anna thanked him this time. The rich businessman didn't think much of it, except that he was a bit puzzled. The results of Lisa's urine test came out soon. She didn't use any illegal substances, but the police wanted Lisa to sign before she could leave. But Lisa only knew the rich girl's name was Anna. Because of the many homonyms, Lisa didn't know how to spell it. Worried that she would be exposed, she pretended to have a shaky hand and dropped her pen on the floor. The rich businessman picked up the pen for Lisa and signed for her. When she didn't come home, her mother called to ask if Lisa was okay. She hung up because she'd be home soon, but the businessman wanted to take her back to her uncle's house. Lisa panicked and said, I don't need to bother you. I want to go back to my own house. But the tycoon pushed her into his car. At this point, Lisa wasn't ready to face Anna's relatives. While the rich businessman was waiting at the traffic light, Lisa unbuckled her seatbelt and tried to escape. The tycoon slammed the car door locks. It was obvious that Anna's previous behavior had become routine for the tycoon. When she got back to her uncle's house, he yelled at her. He said angrily that from now on you would move from your house to this one and be chauffeured to and from school. When Lisa refused, he slapped her across the face. Everyone in the room was stunned, because even Anna's uncle had never hit her for the most serious offenses. It was Lisa's own bad luck that was to blame. Then he told her to go to the first floor and pick a room. The people downstairs also noticed something strange about Lisa. She's usually such a weird and lawless girl. Why is she crying in front of us? The rich businessman thought Anna was really scared this time. Lisa hid in the toilet to ask for Anna's help. She called several times, but no one answered. She didn't know that Anna had been in a terrible car accident. Then her cousin's boyfriend burst into the bathroom. He picked up Lisa and chewed on her. Turns out Anna warned her to stay away from Roy. It's because Roy was cheating on her. Lisa slapped him across the face. But this shameless guy is not angry. but happy. He asked Lisa to meet him tomorrow at 2 o'clock at the same place. Lisa was so scared. She didn't know what to do. She hid in her room. After calming down, she dialed Anna's number again. The phone was switched off. Lisa would never have guessed. Anna was now in the emergency room. Lisa's own fate had changed from that moment on. This woman's legs are longer than my life. She's got all kinds of designer labels and handbags. Whenever she goes shopping, she needs a car to pull her around. But she's not happy with such a luxurious life. Because her uncle always restricts her freedom. She would sneak out of the house in the middle of the night just to see her boyfriend once. She was fed up with this life. One day, she went to a restaurant to eat. She bumped into a girl who looked just like her, so she asked her to take her place for a while. She said she'd give you $1 million a month in return. The girl agreed without thinking. After introducing her family members, the rich girl went abroad for a break. Unexpectedly, just after getting off the plane, she had a car accident. She was rushed to the emergency room and her life was uncertain. On the other hand, Lisa was living the life of a rich family she had always dreamed of, but Lisa never expected. The relationship between the rich girl and her brother-in-law is so complicated. She was so scared that she spilled the drink in the maid's hand. Lisa subconsciously got up to clean up, forgetting that she was no longer a waitress but a high-flying rich girl. When Uncle saw Lisa's unusual behavior, he thought the slap last night had woken her up, so he decided to take her to the office for an internship. When she arrived at the office, Uncle hugged Lisa tightly. He said he was beating you for your own good. I think I've heard that before. But not long after the uncle left, Lisa sneaked out of the office again. She hadn't been home for 2 days. Her mother must be very worried about her safety. Lisa first went to her neighbor's best friend's clothes shop. Seeing Lisa covered in luxury goods, she was dumbfounded. Lisa changed her clothes and told her friend about her adventure, and asked her to keep her secret. Then she returned home with a big bag. She told her mother that she had found a good job, but I won't be able to come back to see you as often as I'd like. After calming her mother down, she went back to her girlfriend's shop and changed her clothes. Then she asked the rich businessman to pick her up in his car. The businessman asked Lisa what she was doing in a place like this. Lisa explained that she met a good tailor here. She came here to get a custom-made dress, and that cleared up his suspicions. Meanwhile, Anna gradually regained consciousness after resuscitation, but she couldn't remember anything except her name. The doctors had to use Anna's mobile phone to make a call. When Lisa found out what happened to Anna, she hung up the phone. The doctor had no choice but to dial another number. This time he called Anna's home. Unfortunately, Lisa and the rich businessman had just returned to the mansion. Miss Anna is looking for you. When she heard this, Lisa gulped nervously. Anna's mother saw Lisa when she picked up the phone. She thought she was being scammed. She hung up without hesitation. From then on, Lisa went from being an imposter to a real one, and her best friend promised Lisa to keep it a secret. The film ends abruptly. Don't yell at me. I didn't know it would end like this. Voila.